Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kyra, and here on this channel, we love our makeup and we love using what we already have, but we're not necessarily striving for perfection or Instagram editorial looks. We're just here for real makeup for real life and real people like us. Today's video is my favorites for the first quarter of the year. I used to do monthly favorites, but I just don't at this point try enough new makeup every month or really have any solid feelings about makeup on a monthly basis between project panning, using what I already have, and testing new things. So I've decided this year for 2022, we'll do this quarterly. I'll also have coming up my most used makeup for the first quarter, which I think should be really interesting and possibly tell us some things about my makeup collection. But today it's all about the products that I love the most in every category. And I am wearing all of these products on my face, so let's go ahead and get started. The one thing I forgot to put on my face today is the Wet n Wild Impossible Primer. This is a beautiful primer. I don't know that I necessarily agree with all of the claims based on my oily skin type, but it does claim to mattify, hydrate, and blur pores and prep skin for lasting makeup. It is also silicone free, which I definitely appreciate. It definitely hydrates, and I do feel like it blurs pores a little bit. It has a nice cooling feeling on the skin, and it doesn't feel like silicone. If you're not familiar, some people don't prefer silicone primers because they can clog your pores, especially with repeated use. So the fact that this is silicone free is great. The foundation I've been absolutely loving and obsessed with is my L'Oreal True Match Nude Tinted Serum. I have mine in the shade Light 2-3, and it's a pretty good shade match for me right now. Of course, it is what I'm wearing today, and it definitely has a glowy quality. You can see that there's a little bit of a sheen going throughout the product, but I don't find that it makes me look greasy or oily. It wears pretty darn well on my oily skin for a product like this that's touted as a tinted serum. And the thing I love the most about this is that it's very, very thin and light and weightless on the skin. And I am just not a big full coverage foundation kind of girl. Medium's about where I try to stop. And especially for my oily skin type, the more makeup I have on my face, the more makeup's going to melt off of my face. So I really love this one for that reason. I also find it really interesting that this foundation seems to be working for people of a variety of skin types: dry skin, normal skin, oily skin. So it was definitely on my list of foundations that I wanted to try, and it has definitely become a quick favorite here in the first quarter of the year. For concealer, 100% the Kosas Revealer Concealer. I really enjoy this one, and the reason being that this is just beautiful. It is hydrating, it blends beautifully. I don't find that it sinks too badly into fine lines and wrinkles, and while it is very hydrating, I don't find that I have to set it. It doesn't move on me. This is a good shade match for me. I have the shade 3.5 currently. I love this. It's honestly one of the only concealers that I want to wear most of the time. I will say, however, if this one is not in your budget, the Wet n Wild Incognito Concealer is a very, very similar product to this one. The Wet n Wild one does not claim to have skincare benefits, while this one does. They call this one a daytime eye cream as well as a concealer. But the Wet n Wild is very, very similar, and so if this one's not in your budget, I definitely recommend that one. For powder, this actually kind of surprised me. This is in one of my project pans currently. It's in my rolling 2022 project, and it's the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop powder. This is supposed to be a mattifying powder, and while I think it sets my makeup really well, I don't know how matte it is. I mean, you can definitely see the glow on my skin, and I am wearing, you know, a fair amount of this powder. I just really like this. This is a great powder. It is tinted, so it does add a little bit of coverage to some of my more sheer foundations, but I just really like the way that this sets my makeup. And it's one of the only tinted powders in my collection that I really, really love, so I definitely recommend this one, especially if you have oily skin. But even if you don't, I think this is a great little powder. It's very smoothing, and I feel like it reduces the appearance of pores. So it's great. For cheeks, an old favorite has resurfaced for me in the first quarter, and it is my Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzer in the shade Butta Biscuit. I did work on hitting pan in this product last year in my Partners in Cream project, and that is how I fell in love with this. With daily use, I learned just how much I love this, how nice it looks on my skin. I love the shade, I love the formula. Everything about this cream bronzer just is perfect to me. Again, I'm wearing this one today, and I just love this. No matter how you apply it, it's beautiful. Today I used a sponge, but a brush also works beautifully with this one. And I did apply this one over the NYX powder today. So, I mean, I can't say much more than that. It just works. It's just good. And I love the shade range that Fenty offers in all of their products. And this is the shade. Next, for highlighter, it is again a cream product, and it is the Flower Beauty Day Glow Highlighting Glaze. This is in the shade Stunner, which is the lighter of the two shades. This again works just fine over powder. I applied it over powder today, and I just love the sort of sheen and glaze and gloss that it gives to the skin. There's not a ton of pigment, so you can wear it with absolutely anything. They do have a deeper shade for deeper skin tones. I don't find that this gets sticky at all or picks up foundation or anything like that, even when applied over powder. And I just love this. I love that I can reach for this, and it works with any look that I might have. I think this is beautiful on your no makeup days. Just a nice glossy look to the cheeks that looks very natural and understated. And for blush, man, I fell hard for this one. I think I've fallen harder for this particular blush than I have for any other blush in my collection, and that is really saying something. And it is not a cream. It is the Nabla Skin Glazing Glass Skin Finish Glow Powder in the shade Independence. Now, I had a shade in this previously that is a blush shade called Lola, and I like that one, but it's like a watermelon coral pink shade, which is beautiful, but not really an everyday shade for me. This is beautiful, and it could absolutely 100% be my everyday blush for a long time to come. It's just beautiful. I kind of describe it as sort of like a bronzy rose shade. It's a baked gelée poured into or onto a tile type product, so it's very firm, which means very little kick up and very full pigment. For eyeshadow, I found this incredibly difficult to choose. I've had some beautiful palettes come into my life since the beginning of the year, including a couple of gifts from friends and subscribers, as well as a couple that I have purchased with my beauty budget. Ultimately, I chose the one that I did because not only do I reach for it for, you know, more special looks, fun looks for filming. I've done 3 looks, 1 palette with this palette, but I continue to reach for this palette on an everyday basis because it's just so easy to use, and yet I feel special every time I use it. And without further ado, it is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette. If you haven't seen it, of course, it looks like this. You do get 2 cream shades over here, which are absolutely phenomenal. phenomenal. And I love using them either for liner or a base or just as sort of like a wash of color to deepen the outer corner of a look. There's just no limit to the ways that you could use not only those shades, but this entire palette. These matte shades down here are phenomenal. I love this shade and this shade, which I'm wearing today, which are more of your like sequin shades, but they do have enough of a glitter in them that it actually shows a little sheen on the eyes. Then you have a couple of more normal metallics, if you will, and then two of these beautiful like glitter toppery shades. I have a little bit of this like cream shade glitter on the inner corner today. In fact, let's just add a little more. I mean, I just can't explain how beautiful they are. I will link my video with the 3 looks and my review, but these shades right here are what make the palette for me, besides the cream shades as well. They're just a beautiful piecey glitter that really catches the eye. It looks different than anything I've seen in a palette before, and also reminds me of some of my most favorite single eyeshadows. For example, Urban Decay Space Cowboy. And for brows, my most recent favorite is the Merit 90s brow. It's called a volumizing pomade. I have it in the shade brown. Looks like this, and man, this thing has really lasted a good amount of time. I did collaborate with Merit last year as well as just recently, but this one is from last year and it is still going. I like it because it does deposit a fair amount of color. That is what I have on my brows today, but it also has a hold to it because it's more of a pomade consistency versus a gel, like a tinted gel consistency, where you see that in a lot of other tinted brow gels. And so ultimately I love this because it is my one and done eyebrow product. For mascara, this is a recent discovery, but like a fast favorite, if you will. And it is the Sephora Big By Definition mascara. This is the Sephora Big By Definition. I haven't opened this one yet, so that's why I'm going to show you the sample and show you what the brush looks like. The sample is still going strong, but I love it so much that I went ahead and ordered the full size. And the full size, I believe, was like $12. So, I mean, honestly, we're talking almost drugstore prices, but it gives beautiful length and definition and separation and still gives a good amount of volume. So I just love this. It's a great everyday mascara, and that's pretty much what I bought it for. For lips, I have this perfect trifecta of products. First and foremost, if you've been around for a little while, you might know how much I use the Milani Understatement lip liner in the shade Nude Entrance. I'm about to pop open my 3rd pencil of this in the less than a year. And that's because I use it so much. It is like my very perfect nude lip liner. I love just lining my lips with this, but I also love filling it in all the way. Today I lined and filled in my lips. And then the lipstick that has become, again, a fast favorite, and that is the Merit Signature Lip Lightweight Lipsticks. This was sent in PR. I got 2 shades. This is my favorite. Beautiful packaging, of course. And I am not under any obligation with the brand beyond the mentioning it in a video, which I did. This is the shade Baby. It has a very, very light, real raspberry scent to it. But also I find this to be an incredibly similar dupe to Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk in the shade. But this is so comfortable. This is a lipstick that feels like a tinted lip balm. I mean, it's gonna stick around. It's definitely a little bit more tenacious than a tinted lip balm would be, but it has the full pigment, as you can see, of a lipstick. It's just beautiful. You can see it has Merit embossed in the bullet there. Love this. Went on a date night for our 19th wedding anniversary last night, and this is what I used. However, there's one product that could make it just a tiny bit better, and this is not a new favorite by any means, and that is my Rimmel Stay Glossy in the shade Blushing Belgraves. For me, this is the perfect center of the lips, sort of highlighting lip gloss that feels beautiful and wonderful. It doesn't break down my lipstick. It just adds a little bit of a shine, a little bit of a lighter tint to it. And so these are the three I have on today. And honestly, they are definitely my 3 favorite lip products in my collection for the first quarter. And that, my friends, is all I have for you today. I like to have a lot of time with a product before I dub it a favorite. So these are definitely tried and true, the products that I'm using repeatedly, that I'm excited to use, that I'm excited to reach for over and again. So let me know down below, what are some of your favorites for the first quarter, new, old, or otherwise? It doesn't matter to me. A favorite is a favorite, no matter when it came into your life. If you're using it a lot, it must be a favorite. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you and your time as always. If you did like today's video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done that already. And I will see you in my next video very, very soon.